Hello Indie fans, with another great selection of fantastic titles and 1.0 releases in this video, with a giveaway or 2 or 3, so keep your eyes peeled for some goodies. Let's begin with Sentimental K, an action roguelite that looks very sleek and stylish, coming to us from, I believe, a Korean developer. This launched out of early access after 1.5 years, with plenty of new content being added in that time frame, including new bosses, artifacts, levels, enemies, and various tweaks to the progression system. While it doesn't have that much of a coherent plot, the game's bosses are based on emotions such as love, depression, and so on, which leads to interesting boss designs. Also, the regular enemies that you encounter in the level can come in quite large numbers, which, combined with powerful and impactful weapons and abilities, gives it a great game feel. It is a little under the radar for how long it has been playable on Steam, so if you're a fan of the genre, be sure to check it out. A neat-looking arena action title is Guns and Boxes, taking place on a single screen in each level, where destroying boxes may grant you new weapons, which you can then use to destroy enemies. It is an unfortunate casualty of indie game development, since the developers could not find a way to get traction with this, so development has stopped on this, but in a nice gesture, the developers have made it free on Steam, so perhaps check it out. This video is brought to you by Buyee, a proxy shipping service that gets you items from Japan. If you're a fan of Japanese media, whether it be anime, video games, manga, and so on, you might find that it's difficult to get merchandise of your favorite series where you live, since there are quite a number of such brands and items that are only for the Japanese domestic market, but fear not, that is where Buyee comes in. By partnering with sites like Rakuma, Rakuten, Mercari, Amazon Japan, and Yahoo Japan shopping and auction services, Buyee buys the products from a Japanese store, which is then shipped to Buyee's warehouse, and they handle international shipping and sends it right to your doorstep. So whether you're trying to get an Attack on Titan plushie or a One Piece figurine, this is the service to use. Sign up using the link in the description for a 2,000 yen coupon off your first purchase, which is about $20 US, and remember, by using Buyee, you can buy anything from Japan. Another underrated title that has been kicking around in early access is Ephemeral Tale, and launched out of early access last month. This is a very classically made, turn-based JRPG, where my soft spot for this genre shows once again, since I grew up with games like this, and am only happy to see that tradition continue into the modern age. One knock against this game, which I suspect is why it's not doing great, is the assets and art, which I've definitely seen before, and might be from some generic asset pack, so developers do be warned, people do pick up on things like that. However, if you're able to get past that and love this genre like me, I think that you will find something of interest here. A city builder title that I've had my eye on for quite a while is Make Your Kingdom City Builder, and it did finally release on Steam as well. It has you building a kingdom from the ground up, directing your people and meeting their needs while fending off dangers from both Mother Nature herself as well as external threats like orcs. While the villagers in this game are egg people, the low poly art style does really work, but I love the construction animation in particular, as the various parts of the building float up and then drop down as things are being built. It is also a little bit under the radar, so I wanted to highlight it for fans of the genre.
Are we doomed to a worse fate than our ancestors? I remember learning about the corruption from long ago. A darkness that enveloped the land and created the fracture. We believed that our world had fallen. But we rose above it.
I don't usually cover VR games since they are still relatively niche, which is why Zenith: The Last City impressed me, in that even with a relatively small pool of potential customers out there, they still managed to get 1,800 Steam reviews and about 2,000 concurrent players as of recording for this action MMORPG. It is set in a sci-fi world with some East Asian influences in design, but does have a rather generic setup of fighting a rising corruption, which is all par for the course for MMOs, but certainly an accomplishment in a new and emerging space.
Their courage made us whole again. We live in an era of peace, but it is coming to an end. The corruption is back, and it is even stronger than before. This time, we are far outnumbered.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main stories tonight. But first, the votes are in and it's a decisive win for Advance.
What do you make of this historic election result?
So perhaps we should all be celebrating. Except for the rich.
I mean, a lawyer and a TV personality running the country. Seriously?
We've had worse.
What does the future look like to you?
A bleak space where we've all been figuratively sodomized into submission.
Alright, so I technically did not miss the 1.0 release of Not For Broadcast, since they did kindly sponsor one of my videos, but I have to give it another special mention for this awesome new trailer. If you're not familiar, this has you playing as the producer of the national nightly news, switching between various camera angles, beeping out profanities and even cutting to commercials, all in real time, which is a very unique gaming experience that should mirror what actually happens on live TV. There are two screens, the live feed and what is being broadcast out to the public, but you have to decide what is and what is not for broadcast, with meta elements like a vaguely dystopian society and something strange going on in the real world. It is truly one of the most unique gaming experiences out there, and the FMV and acting is fantastic as well, so thanks to the team and publisher once again.
If you fire a single shot,
Initial estimates put the death toll into the millions. Mr. Blundercatch, I understand you're upset, but we can...
Jesus!
Done, everybody!
Well, if that doesn't distract you from the world outside, I don't know what will.
That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Welcome to Purgatory, the land of lost souls, the realms of madness. Does anyone have what it takes to survive the nightmares of this realm and open the doors of insanity?
I've been following the works of developer One Shark ever since I started this YouTube journey, where their games always stand out due to the very unique art style, and their roguelite deck builder, Doors of Insanity, just released out of Steam Early Access. It was released in a very crowded period where everyone was chasing Slay the Spire, and is similar in many ways, which led to it flying under the radar, but is a decent one of these with fun weapons, good meta progression, and some fantastic art.
Gentlemen, I would propose a toast to the bravest men I have ever had the honor of serving with.
Content warning, Dread Hunger can get a little gruesome and gory later on in this trailer, but it's an asymmetric first-person multiplayer title that has you playing as an explorer in the unforgiving Arctic. I would describe this as Among Us on steroids, where there's a thrall or betrayer in the group that wants to sabotage a ship and to kill all the other players.
They said it wouldn't be easy. And by God, they were right. But we persevered, didn't we? We kept going, where lesser men would have made peace with their fate. We steeled ourselves against the cold and the monsters that call it home.
It is a lot more involved than Among Us, of course, with wild animals, cannibals, weather, hunger, and warmth mechanics, but it's certainly a well-made title of interest.
We emerged victorious. Now, I have heard it said that this land can change a man. Turn him into a beast. Well, to that I would say that men were always beasts.
Do note that the Steam reviews almost unanimously say that you must play with friends, which is a group of 8, since public games are a total mess, so if you can gather the crew, this is one to get.
Some, you see, well, they're just better at hiding it than others. Now, let's eat.
Another Chinese title headlines one of these videos, since Edge of the Abyss Awaken looks like a very promising entry that should not be missed. It is a 3D action-adventure RPG, but is structured as a roguelite, where I think that I even covered this in my upcoming Souls-like video last year, since it does have stamina-based combat. The action looks fantastic, showing the impressive skill of Chinese studios with titles like this and even the upcoming Black Myth Wukong. Levels are completely randomized every time you boot up the game, and you have to choose a new character as well, but there is meta progression in the accumulation of resources for upgrades from run to run. You can play solo, but it does have support for 3 players as well, so for the amount of potential this has, it takes the #1 spot. For more upcoming games of 2022, watch these videos and I will see you after the jump.